You can go ahead and do the guild. I'll tweet out. And then we can get this party started. In here.
What, you want me to send the guild message?
Yeah. Yep, in here. Are you cool with reading the reviews, or do you want me to do it?
No, I want you to do it because they talk about me and it's amazing.
We could have Naismith do it.
No, don't make him do it. You do it, Bob. No, I can do it. I don't care.
Sure, just send me the copy. I'll read it.
Oh, it's on the notes. I just added them in after I sent out the notes there at the top.
I can read those if you want.
Do you want to? You can do it if you want to.
I don't know. There's something about hearing my own voice, because I have actually listened to every podcast I've been on. And hearing my own voice just still bothers me.
Been podcasting for years, dude. Hearing my voice drives me absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts.
My voice is just so much deeper and better sounding in my head than it is recorded anywhere else. Like, oh God, do I sound that stupid and nasally all the time?
Oh, see, mine is I have to hear this stutter, or I fuck something up, or I get stuck on something, and I'm just like, spit it out,
guys,
Bob.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Jeez. Getting out of mind.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and get us started. This is just for me. Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic, TBC Classic, and its community. I am Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and today we are joined by Mel, aka Melarina.
Hi.
Hi.
You usually say, "How are you doing, Mel?" And so I was waiting, but then you didn't say it, so you threw me off. Threw me off, Bob.
Sorry, I like to change it up at times, you know. And since Yip
Weird.
isn't here, unfortunately, Yip's not feeling good. We hope that he gets better soon. He got sore throat, he's been coughing, so all of our hopes and wishes and thoughts and whatever go to him, hoping for a speedy recovery. But we do have a guest this week. That guest is returning guest Naismith. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Bob. Thanks for having me back. This is one of the best podcasts I've ever been on.
That's
Granted,
awesome.
I've only been on two though, so come on. I mean, it's
Two really good podcasts, though. Well, okay, one really good. I shouldn't say our podcast is good, but Countdown to Classic is definitely awesome.
It's mainly me, right, Naismith? Like,
of course it is.
I figured. I just,
all right. Well, this week we are without Yip, but we do have quite a bit to talk about. I'd like to remind everybody at the start of the show that we always do stream on twitch.tv/mashthosebuttons. If you ever want to catch us live, it's usually Friday nights. Follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded to know when we go live. What do we got for the show? We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Then we're going to see what Naismith has been doing in TBC, because we haven't had him on since, I believe he was on the pre-patch prior to the last time he was on. So we'll get to see what he's been up to in TBC. We'll talk about what we've been up to in TBC, and then we'll talk about a little Vargflock and raid progress and the raid night from hell we had last night. It was yeah, we'll have to tell you about it when we get there, but it was a little rough and kept getting rougher as the night went on. Then we're going to talk, there's a little bit of news about some more changes to emotes and some clarification on our arena changes coming forward. And then we've got a couple different discussion topics. We're just going to kind of see which one we want to grab at the end of the show, but it's nothing really, in the now. It's just going to be something that we're just going to discuss. So leave that up to your interpretation of what we might talk about, and you'll just have to wait and see. All right, We had some reviews. Who does want to take it? We had talk of the pre-show, but we weren't sure about who was going to read them now that Ryan's not here.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay. So, first we have one from Bogey. He says, the best podcast, 5 stars. Hey guys, wanted to let you all know what an awesome job you all do with the podcast. I wait anxiously. See, I can't even read. This is why this is not appropriate.
Do you
I
want me to
wait
do it?
anxiously. No, I got it. Each week for the next episode, and I'm never disappointed. This is my first time playing the Burning Crusade, so I'm having a great time playing and listening to you guys when I can't play. I play a Horde Druid tank on an Alliance-dominated PvP server, so I feel your pain with opposing faction issues. Yeah, that's super weird, but you feel our pain. I feel you. Keep
All
up
right,
the good
Mel.
work. Mel, you're the best. I didn't add that in. That's really there, guys.
It is
Just
really there.
pointing that out.
All right, Mel.
Sincerely, Bogey from Netherwind for the Horde.
For the Horde.
Exactly. I like this guy.
He's okay.
All
We
right,
have so many Horde listeners.
I'll read this next one since
Okay.
that was. All right. This is from Dark Pritz. Great podcast. I appreciate the work you all put into creating informative and entertaining episodes. I listen to it on the way to and from work, so it takes me about 4 days to get through an episode. So thank you for making the drive that much better. The struggle for warrior tanking is real. For the Alliance.
Woo!
Oh my.
Yeah, the struggle for warrior taking is definitely real. I could take this next one if we would have just each do one.
Listen,
Sounds
Dark
wonderful.
Pritz, though. Can I talk about this? Dark
You can.
Pritz is the only one not asking us for more content, right? It's great. I'm so glad you split it up and then you can hear us every day.
That is awesome. That is awesome. He'd be like, now I have to listen on the weekend, guys. Too much.
Yeah.
See?
Nope. Can't do it.
All right, this next one came as a personal DM from Bricko. He is a host on the Third Faction podcast. They are taking a break for this month to kind of assess what they want to do with the show moving forward in the light of everything that's been going on. So I just reached out to him and said, "Hey, sorry to hear," but he sent a review back because he listens to the show. So he said, I look forward to you and Mel and Yip every week and y'all's shenanigans in TBC, and couldn't be more proud of more of us in this community right now. Horde or Alliance, let's stick together and just have fun in the game we love. Lion's Pride Tavern is a great guild on Peggle, not a PvP server guy for the Alliance. So thank you, Bricko, for the review, and thank you for tuning in every week. And if he said they might be coming back as like a classic podcast, so if that's the case, we might have him on some week to talk about what their show's going to be doing moving forward.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I can understand the feeling about not being a PvP server guy sometimes. Like,
Can't we all?
Granted, we have moved. My guild is officially off Stalag, which was a hellhole of a server for. We are on Earth Fury now, which is about a 65-35 horde. So,
Okay.
yeah.
It's better.
It is
It's
PvE,
better.
right?
No, it's PvP.
Oh, it's PvP, but you're on the dominant faction, though.
Yeah. I'm apparently a front runner. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is my quarterback. Why would I not be a fan of the
Right?
team?
Feel ya.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about that. We have a full Kansas City podcast here. If this was like next week and it was just us three, we could be sitting at a bar downtown during Planet Comic-Con with all the cosplayers walking by, just talking like straight up, like right there, all three of us. Some of the coolest podcasts you could ever do is when you're just like at a location. Like we did one for the Overwatch League recap show, and we did it at the bar.
The guild hall.
Yeah, the guild hall, which is right down from the Blizzard arena, and it was super cool. We'd just have people, content creators and stuff, walking in all the time that just jumped on the mic and It was a really good time. So,
You guys did one in New York too, right? When you were there?
yes, we did one in New York with the guys from Your Overwatch and the guys from High Noon podcast, and that one was really fun too. We weren't on camera; we just recorded audio at our little podcasters meetup where we had a whole bunch of people that were listeners of the show come and basically have a party on the top of this hotel, and it was a really good time. That
Melissa was stuck in the airport drinking her
in
sorrows away that she
in
wasn't there.
Dallas, yeah, in Dallas.
Oh, jeez. Stuck in the Dallas airport. Oh, man.
Yeah, they canceled my flight. I was supposed to fly to New York from Dallas. I was in Dallas for work, and I was supposed to fly to New York, and they were like, "Your flight's been canceled." And I was like, "What do you mean canceled? Like, I can't just stay here. What do you?" And they were like, "Yeah, we could get you out there on Monday." And this is like Friday. And I'm like, "I'm supposed to go back home on Monday. Like, what do you mean you can get me there on Monday? I don't need to be there on Monday."
And the
Wait,
This is awful.
finals
a
are,
72-hour turnaround was their best
Yeah.
offer?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what they said. So, and then they were like, "Well, we could fly you to Washington. You'd have like a 6-hour layover, and then you could go to New York." And I was like, That goes that no,
Wait,
let's not do
Washington
that.
State or DC?
State.
State. Yeah, so let's go all the way this direction, just to go all the way this direction, and you'll probably get there the same time on Monday morning."
She would have flown from Texas at the very south of our, of the United States to the top left of the United States to the top right of the United States, all just to get there. And she still would have even gotten there. She got there Saturday. She was able to actually get on a flight. She got there Saturday and was able to show up right as the finals went for the first Overwatch League season.
Oh,
And
Wow.
no. No, no, not right as the finals went. I got there, and they were on game 2 of the final match, and they only played 3
yep, yep.
because they won. And I was like, "Well, that's cool, guys.
Luckily,
Thanks.
though,
You could
we
have put up a little more of a fight."
Hey,
we were in the content creators middle section that was right there. You didn't have to like fight your way in. You got like walked to us, which was pretty cool.
Sure.
I know.
I am completely familiar with the idiot ways flights are redirected in the United States. My wife and
The
okay,
Dallas airport sucks.
it does, but it's obvious. I live in Kansas City, a distressingly close amount to you two. Um, but when my wife and I went to Vegas for a week, we flew to Minnesota and connected from there to Vegas. Why? I don't know, but that was the
Yeah,
cheapest way.
yeah. It's just nuts.
It's weird.
Whatever.
But we're going to get back on track now. And
Sorry.
Naismith is going to tell us what he's been doing in TBC Classic since the beginning, because we haven't talked to you since it all started.
There has been a shockingly large amount that's been happening. I have actually taken over raid leading for my guild
That's cool.
in 25 minutes because if it's not obvious, the fact that I've been on this show and several other podcasts about TBC Classic, I know a lot about this expansion. It's kind of my thing. So we had a lot of guild drama at the end of Classic. We split up we had a fairly large guild that was going to go into TBC with 2, maybe even 3 25-mans. And a bunch of us just split off because you just can't take it. Like resentments build up after a while.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good plan. Things were going well. But just things fell in the right place. I took over leading 25-mans. It's been a lot of fun. Like I forgot how much I love raid leading. Like I haven't really done it since Mists of Pandaria, like
Oh, wow.
that long ago. It's been a while. But recently, I mean, we're doing well on kill times. We just it takes us about 35 minutes to get our 25-mans done for a week, which is nice.
It's usually what it takes us, except this last week, but we'll get to that.
We're getting some really good parses, which I'm pretty proud of. I don't really like the fact that I'm the Affliction Warlock. I really want to be Destro, but taking one for
Somebody's
the
got to do
team.
it.
We just got our 5th DST in our guild, which is
We haven't gotten
really
one.
nice. Apparently, we've gotten all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
Could you
I
share
feel
the wealth a little bit, Naismith? Come on.
if I could, I would. I mean, that would piss my guild off a lot, but I could try. Um,
Okay.
it's it's been a lot of fun. This last weekend, we did a farming day because we're getting pretty much into the heat of like tier 5 preparations.
Yeah.
So we all sat down. We got about probably almost 20 of us of our 25-man raid. We sat down. We uh, we streamed a movie, and we played a drinking game where
That's awesome.
if you form a primal, you pass out a drink. If you kill an alliance member, you pass out a drink. And we farmed all the primals we would need for resist gear in tier 5 for our tanks.
While
So,
killing the
Nice.
alliance. That sounds like a horrible game.
well,
What movie?
that wasn't the goal. We watched 21. We watched 21 Jump Street.
Oh, wow. Like the
That's
remake
awesome.
movie
Yeah, the remake movie,
with
which
like
it's
Jonah Hill?
with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. Of all
Oh
things,
my gosh.
it's a funny movie, and I never would have thought to say this, but Channing Tatum has great comic timing. Like, he's actually funny.
Oh
He's
man.
not bad to look at either.
I mean, I can't lie. He is just dreamy as fuck.
He is a very pretty man.
Should have invited me to that movie time. I would have come.
If you want to farm with us, Mel, you are more than welcome to.
Only if we're watching Channing Tatum. You know. So you lead your 25 mans. Do you guys do Kara as a guild, or do you just
Yes, we do. We have. Sorry, my connection
No,
slipped
you're
for a
good.
second there. Yeah, we have 3 Kara groups that we do. We're getting a 4th, which is pretty much just an alt run. That's going to be on Sundays. But yeah, we have 2 Kara groups on Wednesday, sometimes 2 Kara groups on Thursday, and then one on Wednesday or Thursday too. I lead that too when I want to. Sometimes I want to take the night off because
Yeah.
Kara, while it's fun, is also fucking long. Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
It can
even
be a
if you're
bit of a
doing it
slog.
like 2 hours, it still feels long.
Yeah,
It's a lot of walking.
it's a huge instance. Granted, I think it's really cool. Like it's one of the best designed instances they've had. But damn, it's fun. It
Yeah.
can be a little long. So that's pretty much all we're doing. I'm having a meeting with the other officers in the guild tomorrow. We're going to be talking strategy for pretty much all the 25-man bosses coming up. What order we want to do them in. Like notes from the PTR that I've been looking into, stuff like that.
When do
I
you think
forgot.
it's going to come? Have you guys had any trouble with any of the raid content? Has any of it been difficult
We-
for you guys as a guild?
We haven't spent more than one night. Like we cleared 25-man all the 25-man bosses the first time we were in there. Like the boss we had the most trouble with was Shade of Iran. Like we have more wipes on that than any other.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's just like composition or just focus, and one Shade of Iran is that one where if one person moves at the wrong time, the whole raid wipes, right?
I keep getting
Yeah.
told that, but since it's never happened, I don't know if it's actually true.
We actually had a really
It happened once.
I've
we
never
had a
seen it
really
happen.
we had a really embarrassing wipe this week on opera event where we had me and the arcane mage were focusing one of the, I think Romeo, and we pulled threat. Both of us died, and then slowly Romeo just ran around killing each person one at a time.
That's the
And-
worst.
And like I'm just sitting there, I'm like, we killed Magtheridon in like 3 minutes this week, and we wiped to this shit. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
do
10
think
man
too,
is
the 10
weird.
mans
Yeah.
is like, it's weird in a way that it's easy, so people get lax, and then people don't pay attention as much, or they don't watch their thread as much because they're not as worried about it. And
Or you
then
set
you
up the
have these like
groups wrong and you forget to put a dispeller in. Like, I mean, all kinds of weird stuff. Or you don't have a paladin. You don't have, you don't have the proper, like, salvation buffs. Like Salvation's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, well, and we swap groups almost every week. Like not everybody, but a lot of them, so people get to play with different people.
Yeah.
And that makes it even harder because then the warlocks come in and they're used to being with a pally tank that they don't have to worry about threat as much, and they're with a warrior and it's like, seed, goodbye. And
Oh yeah. Oh
Or
yeah.
like
We
one group.
get deleted so quickly. It's
oh yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, then like one group will be like, "Oh, well, we all stack for the boss with the well, what the hell are they called? Shards or oh my gosh, I can
Which one are you talking about?
curator.
Oh,
Like
curator.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
the
like
sparks.
yeah, this group stacks, and this group doesn't stack, and this group does this differently, and this
I
group
think we
goes and
stack
pulls
when
these
there's
things
melee.
first, and you're just like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun this week. We had like a perfect caster group set up.
Mm.
So we let our elemental shaman tank the blue beam on Netherspite, and he hit 4K DPS.
Oh
And
wow.
we were just like, stay in there, stay in there, stay in there. Just he stayed in there for the entire time, and he bursted out so much. We nearly one phased it, but then we decided to play it safe. But it's fun. We try to do stuff like that.
What's your composition? Do you guys run with 2 healers? Do you run with 2 tanks? Do you run
We do 2 healers and like we have an off tank, but we really try to solo tank most of it.
Mhm.
So kind of like a tank and a half.
Pretty much. We 2 heal everything. Our disc priest really wants to try solo healing it, just because
I think it's possible for a lot
he's
of it. I think there's certain fights that it'd be really hard.
the only fight he thinks he couldn't do is Nightbane.
That's the one I was
Yeah.
thinking of too.
'Cause he-
Nightbane
he-
and maybe Netherspite. Netherspite might be difficult depending on
Yeah, I can see that.
damage from the blue beam and all of that,
Could you
right?
get
Like
somebody else for the dispels on Nightbane so he wouldn't have to worry about that as much?
Yep, that's what other shaman are for.
So yeah, maybe or Shadow Priest or
yeah,
something.
it's just Nightbane
Yeah.
is at times an intensive healing fight, and if you make any errors,
It's a wipe.
like if you get tail swiped, like, you're
Oh,
out, right?
you
Like
should out of luck there. Yeah.
yeah, we got tail swiped the other night, and I prayer of healing. Goodbye, Melissa. You have taken aggro, and you will die now. Pretty much my
Oh,
night.
Yeah, the
That's
aggro is a pain in that fight. I've had Curse of Doom problems myself and just stopped using Curse of Doom on that fight.
what's it like to be able to use a curse other than elements? Is it fun?
It is. It is definitely fun. Oh
Oh,
man.
so sad.
All right. Well.
So wait, I have another question.
Okay. Go
I'm
ahead.
Sure.
curious. When you guys are doing Kara, what's your preference for tank? Do you guys have warriors and druids and paladins, or do you have
Oh
We
my.
an
have
excess of one?
it's kind of a shotgun of whoever's there and whoever signed up.
Mm-hmm.
We have a main tank that's our guild main tank is a warrior who's really really good. Like he's like shockingly good. Great threat, decent AoE threat. Like I don't have to wait for 10 seconds to throw Seed of Corruption on stuff if he's tanking. We also have a really good pally tank, and we help. I mean, our druid tank is also really good, but he's slightly undergeared compared to the other two because he's just like he started playing like a lot later.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 3 of them are usually the main tanks we have in any of the care
25
groups that we
minutes.
have. Well, in any
Yeah.
of the cares, like our care groups are different literally every week. Like because
So are
people,
ours.
like,
Which is
most of
kind of nice, right?
it is nice. Like I like being able to play with a lot of the different people in my guild.
Yeah.
But like Sunday night is usually me at 11 p.m. looking at the sign up sheets and going, "Oh, fuck, we only have 5 healers signed up."
Right.
And it's me like Discord DMing people on Discord like, "Hey, you gonna show up? You just forget to sign up? You just what's
This is
going
an
on?"
error, right?
That's what poor Harskar has to do for Varg Flocken.
Yeah.
Like
Or
because we
trying to
have
find alts and trying to schedule them at different times, right? So you
yep,
can
that's
oh,
exactly it. Like the I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Someone just said it offhand in Discord. Oh, by the way, like my paladins can start tanking stuff for you guys now. And it's like, all right, you want to main tank Kara? Here you go. Have fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's funny because they're all very different, but they all have their benefits, right? Like, I feel like the Pally tanks are really good, for AoE threat and all of that, but they struggle a little bit more on Nightbane because they have to have mana and they run out of mana. Um,
Our
and
Pally tank,
then
our Pally tank steals innervates on Nightbane.
oh,
Which is what I suggested to Corpse.
I mean, he
yeah, but
doesn't
the
do it.
healers need it too. Although the Nightbane that we did, I think the off tank was a druid and he gave me Innervate. And I was like 2/3 mana, and I was like, "What? Oh, okay. I guess I need to heal. Like, I need to spam my heals so this doesn't go to waste." Oh god. Um, but yeah, I think what about healers? Have you guys found like
We have
you
6 really, really good healers, like shockingly good. Um,
have you noticed any different do you have any paladin healers? Because I
yeah,
know
yeah.
paladins are new to you
We
guys.
have we have one paladin healer. I think he's played the game before because
Mhm.
he's like he and I have like he's made some suggestions about strategy that are a little too on the nose to
Mhm.
be someone new to the game.
Right.
But I mean, they were right. They were good suggestions. But yeah, he's like our our pally tank or our pally healer is really good. Like I'll link you guys his parses later. He's very, very good.
That's awesome.
We have 3. We don't really have an ideal comp. We have 3 priests,
Mhm.
3 priest healers.
Priests are
All,
wonderful.
all of them are good. One of them is starting to get annoyed because he still has to look at his Atish from Nax Ramus, and he's just getting sick of looking at that because I think both of the others have that golden
Light's
shiny hammer.
Justice.
Yeah,
Yeah. Listen, all of our healers have Light Justice, I think. Maybe not all of them, but most of the consistent raiders and not the new people. I was gonna bring my ult last night to see if I could get Light Justice on my druid ult.
wait, you heal on your ult too?
Well, I was just gonna do it last night to
She,
see if I could get Light
yeah,
Justice because nobody needed it.
she PvP heals on her alt
Oh,
druid,
okay.
and
Yeah.
she was
I
really
like
lacking.
healing.
Yeah, she was really lacking the main hand. But we do have a good story about that later. But we'll
I
get to
tried to
that in a
play a
second.
mage and attack people and it was miserable. I hated it. Not that I don't like killing people, because I like killing people with my priest, but I don't
I
know.
mean, out of context, that was a really odd statement, but
True, don't clip that. That
All
I
right.
like killing people.
I like killing people with my priest.
Well, so
We work together.
for Mel and I, just what we've been doing before we get into the raid night from hell. Um, we've just been PvPing a ton, and we did go to an alt raid right after recording the pod last week. We went to an alt 25-man raid. I went on the warrior. She went on the druid. I saw the DST Dragonspine trophy drop for the very first time ever in TBC, and I had it reserved along with like 5 other people. I rolled a 29, and I got beat by like a
Oh,
55, and
wait, a
yeah,
55 won it?
yep,
Yeah,
out
feels
of
about
like
right.
6 people, and if I would have got it, I would have been the only one in the guild with it on my PvP main. Not my, not one of our mains. It would have been hilarious, and I wouldn't have had to spend badges on the other
Bloodlust
trinket.
Brutes?
Yep, which probably gonna have to do pretty soon. But yeah, that's what we've been doing. We've been doing a lot of our arena. We got a fives team going with 6 different people. We've been having we haven't played much, but we've jumped up to I think we were close to 1,400 at one point. But we've only played maybe 30 or 40 games total on that, and we're just trying to coordinate times because we really feel like it's a comp that can do some damage. We've got We got 2 warriors, two
Whoa.
locks, and then we've got Mel on her druid. We've got Kim Jong on his priest, and then is that all 6? Did I name all 6?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Although we're like messing around with different compositions and different specs. Well, okay, Kim is messing around with different specs, let's be clear. Um, but he's like hybrid DPS healing in our arena team. And so it works out really well sometimes. Um, but then when we don't have enough to do 5s, we do 3s. And it works out less well there.
yeah,
I
it's
can
a
see
it's a
that.
little weird with the 3s. Like basically, we were tried where he was like hybrid, but like it's hard for him to know when to go damage and when to go on the defensive. Whereas probably with the 3 of us, warrior, priest, and druid, it's probably smarter for him just to go straight up shadow for those times. But he doesn't have enough of the DPS gear yet to
Right.
actually make that worthwhile. But then you
Well,
switch
and I
out
think
Mel.
if we rely on the 5s though, and not the 3s, like we're just learning from the 3s, even if it's not an ideal comp, you still learn things and like get used to the PvP arena style.
You
I
you
don't know.
learn about when to interrupt, how to escape
Right.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Right.
where to
exactly.
position, like when to get
Yeah.
behind, like I told Bob the other day, I was like, we need to drop down off that one with the bridge that I hate. Like
N-
I was like, we need to drop down
Oh,
Blade's
sooner so
Edge.
that we can go,
I hate that
line
place.
of sight. And but then we tried to just stay down the first time. We were like, okay, that was a nightmare because we couldn't see each other at any point. Um, so yeah, it's just learning, and I think that it's fun. It's a group that's able to kind of problem solve and talk about it together rather than be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe we lost."
Yeah, and
Like,
nobody gets mad. Like that's the
yeah,
biggest thing. Like we're all there. We understand. Like Steel Wolf is the other warrior, and he always seems to like to be apologetic after each match. And I just had to be like, dude, we're gonna lose a lot, man. It's
yeah,
okay. Like just while we're standing here, just click on people, inspect them, look at their PvP stats. What you will see is a lot of high rated people will be 150 wins to 135 losses, and they're like ranked 2K. You just have to play a lot of games, and
right.
that's just the way it works unless you're like a bunch of pro players in like perfect gear, and none of us are. And so we're just trying to like learn. We're trying to be really prepared for when season 2 hits and we can actually compete. Everybody has all of their gear because we're still doing a lot of BGs to get that gear, and we're just having a good time with it and not getting mad at each other. And that's the biggest thing
Yeah.
and what makes it fun.
That's good. Some friends and I have been talking. We want to try a kind of a meme group, 4 paladins and 1 what is enhanced shaman. All of us ret. All of
Oh
us with
god.
deep thunder or whatever that, yeah, deep thunder, and just hope for wind fury procs. That's all we want to do.
Oh
Oh
my
man,
god.
yeah. Well, I
You guys,
mean that's you just try to burn somebody.
I can't tell you how many times we're doing arena and I'm like, "Okay, I'm stunned, I'm feared, I'm rooted, I'm psychoed. I literally haven't done anything this entire game. I don't know what I can't help you." Like, it is so frustrating. I can't. I'm like,
Arena arena can be so frustrating because there are teams and there are comps that can just CC the
just beat
shit
you.
out of you,
Yeah.
and there's nothing you can do. It's like,
Right.
okay, I trinketed. Oh wait, now I'm sheeped.
Now I'm sheep. Yep.
Yep. Well, and that's something.
Fuck this
And it's
game.
like,
I'm
I
done. I'm out.
don't trinket out of this 12-second fear, and then I get sheeped, and then I trinket out of that, and then I get cycloned, and then I get this, and I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah,
I
that's
can't.
something I just have to point out to everybody is like, hey, guys, like I did this before. Like there's gonna be comps that we just can't win against. The best we could do is try. Maybe they screw up, and I mean we have in 3s. Like it was me, Steel Wolf, and Kim Jong doing 3s yesterday, and we ran up against multiple rogue mage priest comps, and we won 2 out of 4 of them. We shouldn't have won those. Like it shouldn't have happened, but you just get
I mean, if you're at
the
equal
stars
skill
align.
level, right? Like if you're at equal skill level, you probably shouldn't win that, right? But if they're just trying to figure out their comp too, like there's a lot of times where we've finished an arena and been like, okay, we should have switched earlier when we're on this one character for so long and they're still at full health and we're out of mana because the freaking Shadow Priest and Warlock over here are draining us for mana, then we should probably switch, right? Like you learn things like that. And I think even from losses, you can take things that you can go forward with and become better just as a team. And I don't know. I mean, there's also certain things where I think I said it the last time I was on, but Naismith, Bob and I were doing twos, and I'm a druid, and Bob and the rogue, I think, killed each other. Like they both died at like pretty much the same time. And then
God.
it's me as a resto druid and a disciplined priest. Okay. So
So
we're sitting there.
it's a
It was
slap
like a
fight.
stalemate, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go bear. Okay, I'm gonna go cat because it can't mana burn me in cat, right? And I'm just like swiping him. I'm like, I don't even know what these buttons do. I'm just like pushing buttons and then kiting and doing all this stuff. Eventually, it literally was like 5 minutes, and then he just AFK'd out. He was like, I'm done. I was
I've seen that happen before. Back when TBC was current, I did see one of my friends who's in my guild right now. He and his 2 brothers were a threes team,
Mhm.
and he was the druid healer. And at the end of the match, it was 2 druid healers in tree form, like slapping each other to
Oh my
death.
god.
At
They
that point, you're
he
just trying to actually do damage to armor, right?
Yeah, he was late to our Black Temple progression raid because he was in an arena for 45 minutes.
Oh my
And
god. I think that's
That's
what this
some
priest was
tenacity
trying to
right there.
avoid. I was like, "I'm gonna stick with it. I will fight you till the end. I am very stubborn, okay?" And this priest was finally just like, "This is never gonna end."
Yeah, and it wasn't 5 minutes, Mel. It was 10.
Okay. It felt like an eternity on my end,
but yeah,
just so
so
you know.
Bob, one of the things you'll realize in arenas is there are a lot of groups that are the quote unquote ideal comps, but it's a bunch of people that have no idea how to PvP properly.
Yeah.
And all they've done is read, oh, this is the ideal comp. This should work
Mhm.
for you. Like, you still need to learn how to PvP properly. You need to realize
It's
that
so hard.
a lot of times the priority is on like you staying alive. It's not on doing damage, which is a really hard thing for a lot of PvE players to learn.
Right.
At least
Definitely.
that's
Well,
been my
and
experience with it.
like, we were doing stuff yesterday and we're like, oh, we just ran up against a 3 DPS comp with like a hunter, shaman, and I forget, mage, right? And we're just like, what we should have done is went in there as soon as they pop lust, we just peace out. Like we just go heal up, and we just peace out, get away from their totems. Then once all bestial wrath, bloodlust is down, then we come back and we just own, and those are the types of things that you just learn with repetition and with playing. And then a good thing we do after most matches, especially losses, is we talk about what we did, what we could have done better, and we give each other, constructive criticism, but don't point fingers. And I think it's just been
Right.
a really healthy, fun thing, and I'm hoping the team keeps going and keeps enjoying, because I really think we can at least push like 1800s, maybe even 2K for shoulders once everybody gets gear. But yeah, I just wish we hadn't started out with our PvP mains 4 weeks. You know, like Mel and I missed 4 weeks of our arena points we could have had, and that really is a bummer. Also, since these aren't our mains, we can't sprinkle in, tier 4
PVE gear.
PVE gear. So we've got the blue
Yeah.
crappy gear, which does have more resilience, but as far as stats wise, it's really lacking compared. I would rather have, tier 4 pants or helm or shoulders on a warrior than the blue piece of PvP gear. So
Yeah.
that's another thing that kind of holds us back.
Yeah.
But we're having fun.
We are.
I
We're
mean,
having a good time.
at least you guys are having fun, and it's not a toxic environment, which so
Right.
many PvP things turn into.
Right.
Like,
Honestly,
so,
I feel like we see more toxicity in battleground groups. Like, even,
Oh
like,
my
internal
God, a
battleground
bunch
groups,
of
right?
middle-aged man babies whining constantly, telling people
No,
they're
but
so
I'm
stupid. I'm so done with the BG chats. You just brought
No,
me on a
but I'm even
tangent.
talking about internally, like, even in our guild, right? Like, we get in more arguments in BGs than we ever have in arena, right? And I think it's just because there's so many moving parts and pieces that it's like everybody has different opinions, but and I'm not saying fights, we don't get
I
in
don't think
fights,
we
it's
get in
just more
arguments. Yeah, I think
eh,
people just have like, different motives for
it's just
winning the
more
game.
tense. It's not as collaborative, it's more tense at times. I think that, a lot of times it's fine and we
At the
just roll with the flow.
at the
The
times
more
when you're
people you
not
get
winning, right?
yeah, right. But I think
hey,
in arena, we're able to not win and be okay, right?
Bob, as John Madden once said, winning is a great deodorant. Like, it covers up a lot of stuff.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
I
What you
don't
Yep.
need to
even know if that.
do is you need to score.
I honestly don't know if that's a real John Madden quote or
It
if I'm just
is.
like making that up in my
Oh,
head.
oh, yours. Okay, yeah.
Like,
The one I just said is a John Mayer quote.
That
well, I mean,
seems like too what do I want to call it? Like abstract for John Madden. I feel like John Madden was more of a like
okay, I have to
you
Google
gotta
this
go
now.
with the ball down the field and score the points. I'm like, oh, that's the goal? So weird. I had no idea.
But yeah, that's been a
Oh,
really good time.
okay, apparently that my quote was something he has actually said. Okay, I feel a little better now.
Nice, nice. Well, he
Yeah?
he has, like, for all the fun, everybody makes fun of Madden. He was a
I
fantastic coach, and he
Oh,
does have a lot of good stuff on his resume.
he's a good guy. He just has an ability to string a couple words together in a very memorable way.
he does.
Yeah. So
But
okay,
I mean, if you sat me down and made me speak for 3 hours at a time while watching football, I would uncork the occasional idiot thing too. Like,
Right?
oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Let's
I
just
do
take
it
all of those
weekly on
things out of
Warcraft
context.
Reloaded. Yeah, I do it weekly on Warcraft Reloaded. It's kind of my shtick. But
Yeah.
okay, just real quick now, just because we hit on it, dude, guys, if you're telling people they're idiots in Altered Valley and you're just spending more time typing than fighting, I'm getting tired of it. Like, most of the people that play are like middle-aged people. So what the hell are you doing, like, yelling the same way you did back in TBC when you were a child? Like, why are you getting so mad at this? I'm in AVs and it just kills me. It's like, instead of trying to educate, you're just trying to, like, beat somebody down, which isn't going to help your cause at all. It's just going to actually make it more toxic and worse.
okay, Bob, have you ever like been around like a bunch of people from your youth and you start acting like the idiot you were as a kid?
Yes, yes.
That is what happens in AV. People revert back to the idiot kids they were when, oh shit, it's 40v40. This is awesome. Oh wait, I'm just gonna be a toxic asshole now.
It's
Like,
actually interesting that you say that, because this is something me and my brother noticed that we did later on in life. We were completely different, different people 15 years later, right? But
oh
when
yeah,
we get together, since we hadn't hung out, like, besides family stuff, but hadn't hung out in a long time, we would revert back to the people that we were before. And once you actually see that happening, it is one of the most bizarre things. Like, because you're not you. You're now back to who you were, and it's the weirdest thing. So it's interesting that you say that.
that's what I think it is with Alteric Valley, because let's be honest, the majority of the appeal of TBC Classic is the nostalgia of it. Like we're going back to a simpler time. This is, for a lot of us, like our formative memories of WoW are of TBC. And for some reason, that brings out the asshole in people in BGs. I don't get it, but I mean, I've also played enough PvP games. Like, I was a big Smite player. I don't know if you've ever played that one. It's a
I
MOBA.
played beta. Yeah, it was basically a cross between a MOBA and a third person, right?
Yeah, but it's like it was such a toxic environment, and like anytime there's a PvP environment, people get toxic, extremely so.
Yeah, it's just I wish people could just because I was toxic back in TBC. I mean, I was the toxic guy that had macros set up to tell everybody exactly what they should be doing. In original vanilla, I had macros set up to tell people how dumb they were if they were a paladin and not a healer, or a druid and not a healer. Like I was that guy that was just telling everybody how dumb they were. And I just later on in life, I realized that gets you nowhere.
Yep.
Coming to people so negatively usually is a way to shut them down
Yeah, they
almost
shut down,
immediately.
they get defensive, like they don't learn. Like, nobody goes away from that being like, "Oh, maybe he was right." No, they go away from it being like, "He's a freaking asshole, like, I'm not gonna listen to what he's saying," and all of your credibility goes out the window.
A shocking amount of our egos are tied up in our performance in this game.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen people just like throw a hissy fit because we ruined a parse for them on a boss? Like, it's really disturbing when you see someone that's a goddamn pharmacist throw a hissy fit.
Like a toddler tantrum is what I related to. I'm like, "Listen, dude, come on. You are 35 years old and you're basically laying on the ground, kicking your feet and your arms in the air, like crying. What's happening?"
Yeah, and it was really bad in vanilla with world buffs and everything. Like that was rough because people would lose their shit. Like, and I lost my shit a good handful of times before I got myself in check. It was like, dude, you've got to stop. Like, this is not
Yep.
okay to get upset about this shit.
Bob's younger self comes out very, like, not frequently, but, occasionally Bob's younger self comes out and I'm like, "Whoa."
Who the fuck are you?
Okay,
Well, no. I know
I
who
will
you are.
I will admit there's a few times as a raid leader where we've made the same mistake over and over on a boss. I'm just like,
Oh, yeah.
it is so close to me just yelling on Discord like I used to yell on Vent. What is wrong with you?
Right.
Why are we doing this over and over? We don't need to do this.
50
I always
DKP Midas.
I always train my managers in things like, "Listen, when you wanna correct something, you need to think of your ultimate goal. If your ultimate goal is to change their behavior, find a way to get to that. It's not about reprimanding, it's not about calling them out, it's not about letting them know that you know that they did it wrong, because that's always their first go-to, right? It's about, like, how can I effectively deal with this individual person, and every individual is very different. How can I effectively change their behavior?"
Calling someone out very rarely improves their
Yeah.
performance. It doesn't. Like, you make them either insanely self-conscious about the
Mhm,
mistake they've made, so all of a sudden, instead of playing the aggressive style you want them to, they're ultra conservative, they're
mhm.
completely obsessed with not making mistakes. No,
Yeah,
like
that they're worse.
yeah, you
Yep.
have to be supportive of people.
Right.
As a raid leader, I constantly take the blame for everything that happens in a raid. Like when it's bad, it's my fault. I fucked up. I didn't call this out properly.
Right, and
Because
in real life, it's the same way, right? Like, if
yeah,
you manage people, their mistakes are fall on you. Like, that's your fault. Even if you didn't make them, you allowed them to be made, and you didn't provide either enough information or you didn't realize that we needed to switch this comp around, or you know what I mean? Like, ultimately, it falls to you and you take that blame. You know that it's other people doing their thing, but you realize what you have to do differently to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yep. Well, and
Exactly.
I will say one thing that's really cool is oftentimes these are the vocal minorities. You're going to get a lot more of it in Alterk Valley because the majority of the people aren't talking. So I will say I've been watching, and there's been a lot of people, and thank you to everybody who has sent me a tell at the start of a BG and said that they love the pod. Thank you so much. Like, it makes my freaking day. And I don't see any of those people ever being a dick in chat. So
So
the
basically what you're
listeners of
saying,
Warcraft Reloaded are good people.
so tell all your friends they need to listen to Warcraft Reloaded because apparently we make them non-toxic.
I think we just draw in the non-toxic people. I think that's our stick because we're generally pretty positive, and I think we draw positive people in. If we were like a podcast that constantly bitched and moaned about everything, then we'd probably draw those people in, you know?
I really need to play more BGs. Hopefully I can come up against you guys and I can use the translator to say I'm killing you positively.
Well, you can't spit on us anymore, so
Ha! Joke's on you.
Oh shucks. That is such a part of my identity.
I'm quitting. It's ruined the game. I'm done.
I literally I don't think I ever used that emote, so it didn't bother me.
I'm kidding. I've never, like,
I've never. I didn't.
I mean,
take
if it offends people, I have no problem with it not being in the game. I have no problem with it being in the game. Like, it is irrelevant to me.
I don't use emotes that often.
I don't
Like,
either.
I don't even know that many. I know clap and golf clap because
my God.
golf clap is funny.
I know silly.
Dude, you don't
'cause it
know
tells
slash
jokes.
silly? Slash silly is the best emote in the game.
Yeah.
So I had this
Come on,
idea for a
Naismith.
movie. It's
No, slash shindig. That's the one I remember.
What?
That's the kind of obscure one.
I don't think I've ever used that one.
I don't think I've used that one either.
It's like I think it's like it. I raise a drink to you or something like that. It's slash
Toss
shindig.
a coin to your Witcher, Valley of Plenty. Sorry, I can't wait for The Witcher. But tangent. Nope, stop. We're not going to talk about Witcher.
You guys literally were like 50 minutes
Yes,
in, and
yes,
we've
we need
talked
to-
about our week.
Well, I mean, there isn't really a huge discussion topic at the end, so it's fine.
Mel, I am sorry for being an interesting person
It is. It's
having-
all your fault, Naismith.
and having good takes on things that are happening.
True.
Well, do we
Wow,
want
that
to?
sounded really arrogant, even in my head. I'm sorry.
Do we want to move on to the worst raid in history?
Please
The
do.
raid from hell.
I'm gonna go get a drink so I can enjoy this properly. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I filled up before we got to the start. Don't worry.
All right, so where do we start? So, okay, first off, before raid even starts, Mel and I order food. And
Oh, no. Let me tell this
okay,
story.
you go right ahead.
So I get on DoorDash and I'm like, because I'm working really late. It's a crazy time at work right now. And I'm like, I need to eat. And we have raid. Okay. And we're in the Thursday raid instead of the Tuesday raid. So it's like a longer Kara plus 25 man raid. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to order food so we can get that. I order food. I order Popeyes, some spicy chicken fingers, some mashed potatoes. I'm so excited. And it's like 45 minutes. And I was like, okay, we'll get it like 10 minutes before raid. But there's always that like prep time, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, it should be fine. 10 minutes before it says your dasher's at the place waiting to pick up your order. And then it says arrival time 10 minutes, right? Then a couple minutes later, it says your order has been canceled. The restaurant is closed. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? No. And this is at like, I don't know, 7:50 or something.
Later on, we would realize, though, that they closed due to severe thunderstorms, which I went and got the...
Did they actually close?
Yeah, I went and got the Popeyes for us today and asked them if they had closed, and they did actually close because of severe thunderstorms we didn't know were going on because we're
Okay.
gamers and we don't watch the news. So
Yeah, and
go
we're
right
in the
ahead.
basement, right? We don't understand what's happening outside. Um, but no, so they say your driver canceled your order, restaurant is closed. So I'm like, oh hell no. And I get on the little app and I'm typing up this raging email and or message to the little help person, and they're like, I'm so sorry, they said that the building's closed. And I was like, well, Google says the building doesn't close until 10, so I don't understand why they would close right now. And so they did give me a $20 credit, so thank you, DoorDash, I will still use you. But I didn't have food. I was like, that like solves my problem, and like, okay, thank you, but at the same time I'm still really really hungry. And so then I have to try to find something very quickly to order again, and it's not going to come until halfway through the raid, which is fine, except
Okay, so then we're starting out the raid. It's our 25 man, and then one Kara group's going to break off after. So we get to raid, and we realize that all of our shambies have called in sick. So we're in our 25 man raid, and I'm like, oh, we have one elemental shambi in the whole raid. So already I knew this was going to be rough. So we go to King and Gruel, and it's just, it really is a shit show. We died, like half the raid died on both bosses, and it's just like, oh my god, this is killing me. And like that should have told us like things were gonna go south. But during Gruel and during King Mag, or King oh, what the heck's his name? High King whatever. During that
Malphite.
time, yeah. During that time, Mel and I are lagging like unbelievable, and we have to keep taking a break between like during trash to like we like rebooted our router, we rebooted the main router, we were trying different things, but we had like 400 and 500 ms lag, and it was just like, what the hell? And so we think we get it fixed. Mag actually was what, like, we move on from Gruel, we go to a Mag, we restart the main router like during the trash for Mag. We get into Mag, we do Mag. Mag wasn't horrible, but it was pretty. We did wipe
it was
once.
choppy.
Yeah,
It was hard for me to heal because like I would start a heal and then it would be like do 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 do. There's your heal, and I'm like, what is happening? And it takes me a second to figure out that I'm lagging. Right? I'm just like spamming the buttons, and I'm like, why is the person not getting healed?
yeah.
I died a couple times.
So we wipe, all the soul stones are gone, but we do end up taking it down the next time around.
Oh no 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 no! Can I need to point this out,
Oh,
Bob?
go.
Because I messaged Bob and I said, "Hey, can I have a soul stone?" And he goes, "Well, I tried to put it on you and it went on me. I don't know what happened. I was clicked on you." And I was like, "This is a reoccurring
I don't
issue.
know why that happens. Like I'm literally
Bob keeps
clicked
putting
on
soul
you.
stones on
Like,
himself."
are you just like walking away from me like when I'm doing it? Then it goes on me. It makes no sense. But like it should say your target's out of sight or something. But it just puts it on me, and I'm just like, okay,
It just keeps
whatever.
happening.
It,
Does this? Oh,
It's happened twice.
well, no, I think that's the third time it happened. I just
Okay.
like sometimes I don't have to tell you because you don't notice. Like I think that's the
Ugh,
third time it's
one,
happened though.
once is an accident, twice is
right?
an issue, 3 times is a pattern, Bob.
Yeah, I don't know
This is
what
what I'm
I'm doing
saying.
wrong. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But if any
I think
warlock
Bob
can
just
tell
wants to
me,
give himself a soul stone.
yeah, that's
Someone,
worthless though. Because then like I have to rebuff and everything else. Like it's, I mean, it's, I just might as well be dead. Like it just like if I end the fight after coming back from a soul stone, my parse is gonna look like, what were you doing, Bob? Just twiddling your thumb in the
What
corner?
was
Like,
that?
yeah. I mean, I would rather be dead to keep my, dignity. So there's no point in putting a soul stone on me. And so
Sure.
So yeah, so we did get through Mag, and we're like, okay, finally. And so we get sent to Kara, and Mel had gotten the go ahead to come to Kara on her alt, and then just she was going to use her lockout on both her main and her alt, and just come in on her priest for certain fights that we needed, probably Nightbane and maybe Nether. And so we get in there.
Because we had a really good second druid healer.
Yeah.
So
So
could pretty much solo heal most of it.
So we get in there. Things are going good. Mel gets an offhand drop that isn't the best, but I mean, she was trying to get in there for one of the maces, so it worked out. She got that. Things are going pretty good. We drop Maiden, and then the mace drops. Mel gets it. We're like, oh, sweet. We're moving and grooving. We're headed to the next piece of trash before we get to the opera event, and all of a sudden the power goes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything shuts off. Then it all comes back on for a second. Then it shuts off. Then it all comes back on for a second. Then it shuts off. Then it all comes back on for a second. Then it just shuts off. Right? We're like, oh shit, we just lost power. And we hear crackling thunderstorms outside. Then it's pitch black down here in the basement. All of a sudden, I hear my dog just pissing, like hardcore, just like puddle pissing. And I'm slapping all over the place, like trying to hit him to like say, stop, stop. And I can't find him because it's just dark.
I come out of my room and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, they're just peeing all over the place. And I was like,
and
what is happening in my life right now?
Just to let you know, like I'm slapping at a dog that's 105 pounds and all muscle, so don't think I'm hurting my dog if I actually would have connected.
He did connect a couple times, and I know Finn just looked at him like, okay, dude.
Yeah,
I gotta pee.
And so I'm just hearing this like
you scared the pee out of me.
It's like the Jolly Green Giant taking a piss on the carpet, and I can just hear it, and I don't know where it is to like stop him. And I'm like, okay, all right, we just lost power. It'll probably come back in a second. I'm gonna take the dogs out, get them, good. I'm like,
we take the dogs out. Don't say I.
That's what I said though, and then you said you'd come. I'm just telling you the story. So then, like, I'm taking the dog. I'm like on the phone, like trying to message Raid, telling him what's what's going on, because I still have the phone on LTE. You get outside and it's just pouring rain, and so I'm trying to tell the Raid what's going on. Mel takes each of the dogs out like separately to go to the bathroom.
Okay,
like,
Mel
while I'm
doesn't
standing on the
willingly
porch.
take each of the dogs outside. Mel takes one dog outside, and my dogs also look at me like, what do you want me to do with this? Like, I can't do, we need to go inside. And I'm like, you're not going to pee and poop inside. Like, get your business done. And so I try to take him under a tree, right? And I've got a raincoat on, and I'm just like drenched. And so I take one dog out because Bob had the other, and they're just standing under the awning. And I'm like, what are you? You're not accomplishing anything over there.
I was on my phone telling the Raid.
Hold on one second here. In a thunderstorm, you went under a tree?
Yeah. It was the best idea for the dogs. Don't worry.
Okay. Like,
yeah, I also held up a metal pole. Just
we're all from the Midwest here. We know what to do in thunderstorms. Like, the first thing they tell you is don't hide under trees and don't go near power lines.
Yeah, I know, but when you have to have a dog that needs to pee or poop, they're not going to do it in the open.
I have a needy 120-pound dog that spent all of last night trying to get as far between my wife and I as possible on the bed because he is terrified of thunderstorms.
Oh, yeah. It's a thing. I hate them.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
And
that's the end of my interjection.
No, I wish we would have taken our dogs out before the craziness happened, right? But they're already freaked out because it sounded like the freaking house was, rumbling. And then we take them outside, and then it's just like pouring down rain, and they look at me like, no, I'm not going to do that. And so I take him under the tree. I don't go like super close to the tree, okay? Just like the leaves is, cover of the rain. Hindsight, that might have been a poor choice, but we made it. And yeah, so I took one of them, and then Bob's just sitting there on his phone underneath the awning. And I was like, okay, give me the other one. Let's do this. And we went out and they did their business, and it was fine. And then we come back in, and the lights are still out. Everything's still, you know, we have nothing. And we're like, okay. Bob's like, yeah, you can get on the laptop and maybe you can help because they were trying to find replacements. And I was like, well, one of us can probably get on the laptop and do it with the hotspot. And so I open up the laptop and it's at like, you know, 36% naturally,
Now,
right?
by this time, I'm getting messages from the officer in the raid, Jasmine, saying, "Hey, we just replaced you. Kim Jong and Little Chilbra are coming, and if Mel gets back on, she could have my spot." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And it's been like 15 minutes since all this went down.
He said I could have his spot. No, I was not going to be as effective.
Well, and so at that point, I just told Jazz, just go ahead, like. Yeah, I'll let you know if power comes back up. Maybe I can sneak back in because I really wanted the dagger. But, so, yeah. So at that point, we're like, well,
So we don't have food. No. Let's backtrack. We don't have food.
no, we have food that was
we get food
delivered
delivered. Okay, right? We get the second round of food. It was successfully delivered
earlier.
earlier when we started the raid. It like came like right as we started the 25 mans. Okay. So it's been sitting on our counter for, I don't know, like an hour and a half, right? Now we don't have power. So now I can't heat up my food that just came from DoorDash. And it's old Chicago mac and cheese with chicken and beer sauce. It's amazing. But that's besides the point because it sucks cold. Okay. So now I don't have power. So I can't heat it up. I can't open my fridge for very long because I can't let all the cold air out because I don't know how long the power is going to be out. So we're just sitting there in this like,
So then we're like, all right, let's just throw in the towel. Let's just watch some shows on the laptop, which has 20% less. The thing says it's going to last for another like hour, like 45 minutes to 50 minutes, I think is what it said. So we turn on the hotspot, we connect it to the hotspot on our phones, and we start watching a show on the laptop. Laptop dies in 5 minutes. And so we're sitting there by candlelight. Luckily, we had candles, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But we're sitting there by candlelight, and I'm just like, this sucks. And we're watching, we've got Melissa's phone, which is one of the bigger iPhones. It's like the big one, but like it's still not very big. And we've got it propped up in the laptop watching shows. The whole time I'm like watching, like messaging people, like how far along are you? Like hoping the power is going to come back on. Like an hour goes by, I realize the power's not coming back on, and I'm tired of watching this little fucking phone. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go buy an iPad from freaking Walmart. And Mel's like, you probably shouldn't go out. It probably could be dangerous. Little did I know, there's flash floods everywhere.
well, no, first he was like, Mel, come with me, come with me, come with me. And I was like, nope, I can't do it. I'm tired. It's already late. I can't do it. So he reluctantly goes by himself
So yeah,
against my advice.
go out in
Wait.
the raging storm. What?
So sorry, I hate to interrupt the story again, but your first thought was to buy an iPad and not a generator?
Yes.
No, I was gonna look and see if there was anything I could get, because we had power bricks, two of them that were fully charged. We actually are bad about charging them, but we actually had them both fully charged. It was like, okay, well, I could charge an iPad with that. I was gonna look at Walmart to see like what type of thing I could get to like maybe plug the laptop in or something to like the car, something like where we could plug it into the car. We could maybe just sit in the car and watch a show or something. Like I don't know. But like I drive, I'm heading, like, I'm just kind of driving normal, and I hit a patch of water, and I almost lose control because it's a foot of water that I'm going through. There's water gushing over the top of my the top of my hood, and I'm like, okay, I need to be a little more careful. Maybe this is bad. And so I get to Olathe, which is close to
Listen,
like
there's
where
one
we
time
live.
where I think I floated halfway to Oklahoma from Kansas. I was like driving from Kansas to Oklahoma, and there was thunderstorms like there was last night, and everybody was pulled off the
You
road.
are
But
tangenting on a crazy
I
tangent right
know,
now.
but I was like so determined to get to Oklahoma that I was like, well, everybody's pulled off. So even if I like run off the road, nobody's gonna be there. I just I just pushed through. It was great.
Okay, so I get to Walmart. They've got power in this part of the of Olathe. Like there was no power where I'd come from. Surprisingly, there were some street lights on. I think they might be like solar power ones that like save the power or something. I don't know, but like I get to Olathe. I get to Walmart. The doors are open. I walk in Walmart. I'm back at the iPads. I pass a ton of employees, but I'm back at the iPads and I'm looking for somebody. I'm like, hey, can somebody come unlock this and ring me up? He's like, we're closed. I was like, what do you mean you're closed? You're Walmart. Walmart
You didn't
24
tell me that
hours.
you got all the way inside
Yeah, all
and
the way
back
to
to
the
the
back to
iPads.
the electronics. And he's like, we're closed. I was like, what do you mean you're closed? Walmarts don't close. Like only like the really small Walmarts close. This is a super center. This never closes. I've been coming here like for like the 15 years since it's been here. And he's like, no, we're closed. Like didn't give me any explanation whatsoever, which pissed me off. So I get out to my car and I'm like, all right, well, we'll look and see where the other Walmarts. Maybe I'll drive to a different one. They're all closed. Turns out COVID, Walmart decided not to be 24 hours. And this really, this really, like, I sent an angry tweet to Walmart and then deleted it two minutes later. But, like, I sent a really angry one because if you're telling me that you closed to be safe for COVID, you're freaking absurd if you think anybody's going to believe that. So you're telling me instead of shopping in the middle of the night
Don't
when
you think that's
nobody's there,
right?
I
That's
have
the
to come
thing.
during the
Like,
busy day? And you're keeping me safe by not, like, if you told me, oh, I can't staff people because they make more from unemployment and don't want to come work, I would have believed that. But you're telling me that you're trying to keep people. We're going on a crazy tangent, but I was so mad. So I get back to the house. Oh, we're watching shows again on the stupid little phone. Power comes on for 2 minutes. It was like a hallelujah moment. The power comes on. I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm turning my computer on, and like, I get logged into my computer. I'm like, oh, sweet. And this is actually before they have killed the last boss. So I maybe could have jumped in and like had a chance at the dagger. Power goes right back off. I like throw everything up. I'm like, I had already blown out the candles. I light the candles again. I'm just like, I'm going to bed. And like, that was the end of the horrible night. And long story short, the dagger did drop for the first time in any raid that I was in or part of. And I hate my life right now. That was the raid from hell.
Wait,
meanwhile,
wait.
Nell's sitting on the couch being like, "Oh no, the power's out. And it's just gonna be really hot in here because it's like 92 degrees outside." Like, that's my biggest concern. Bob's biggest concern is much different.
Well, because you'd already got your mace. Ugh. Mm, mm.
Mel, I can sympathize. We lost our air conditioner a couple years ago on the 4th of
Nope.
July,
Nope.
and oh, that was a miserable 3 days
I can't
getting a
handle
new
it.
one. That was
I
that was so bad.
Yeah, like, I am the type of person like, people tell me things like, "Oh, I just don't like it really cold," and I'm like, "Listen, you can put on more clothes and make yourself warm. There are only so many things you can take off to make yourself cooler, okay? So, if we're gonna have one or the other, let's go with the coldness here."
And we get both
Personal
because we're in
opinion.
the fucking Midwest. I'm sorry, my mouth has been horrible today.
I love it.
I
I love
hate
the Midwest.
I hate the humidity, man. Colorado was
Oh, yeah.
gorgeous, like
Bob and I lived in
95
Colorado for
degrees, and it felt good. Ugh.
Well, in the shade, right? It still felt hot in the sun, but in the shade, it felt like 70. It was amazing.
Yeah, it just wasn't sweltering. You didn't like feel. You didn't like. You're immediately moist as soon as you walk outside. In Kansas, when like
Literally, I walk outside and I'm like, I'm just wet everywhere. My whole body just all of a sudden is wet
That's why I get to
because,
work at 7:30, because that way I won't have to worry about that. It's still cool enough usually.
yeah, it's bad though. It's bad.
well, yeah. So that was the raid from hell.
Also,
Hopefully, we get our chamois back next week too.
in the middle of this, I found this spider in our basement. Oh, maybe this was another day, but I found the spider in our basement. What I thought was a spider. Apparently, it was just a very large ant. And now I'm concerned.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was a different day, definitely.
a very large ant might mean carpenter ants. Yeah, you should probably get that looked at.
It was like big and black.
That, yeah, get that looked at. Like
Oh God.
that can, they can cause some structural damage to your house.
Now I'm
I
concerned.
know that from firsthand experience, unfortunately.
Oh, I literally just hate anything creepy crawly. Anything that, yeah, no.
All right, well,
Okay, sorry about
this has
moving on.
been the longest what we've been doing in raid progress in the history of Warcraft Reloaded. So we're going to move on to the news. So in the news this week, it's not much, but we did have a update on the Arena bulletin board. Now, this is on PTR at the moment. What it is going to be a little bulletin board that you can go access right in chat by the Arena people, the ones that you queue with or buy your gear with. I don't know if there's going to be one at the different arenas like Nagrand and Blades Edge. I assume there will be one there too. But it's basically you're going to be able to see where the cutoffs are for like rank 1, gladiator, duelist, rival, challenger. You'll see where you have to like get to actually get that by the end of the season. And you get to see you get to see some other stuff like leaderboards and everything else, and it'll be kind of cool. It'll be something that I don't think we had in TBC, but we might have gotten the Armory by then, which showed that. I know we got it by Wrath, but I don't remember if that came in TBC or not.
Armory was in TBC, but we did not have a bulletin board like that. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be just neat because I don't remember how we knew if we were going to get on the cutoff or not. I think we didn't. We just had to keep going.
I don't think we knew.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think there was a lot of, I'm sure, Reddit posts. Was that even a thing? I think it was.
I don't even remember Reddit back then. I don't know if Reddit was a thing then.
Maybe it wasn't a thing back then. Maybe that's why I don't know how to use it. Because I was young back then.
Hey, you're my age. Yeah, we weren't exactly young back then. We were
Younger.
That's very true.
Yes, I was in college. But I feel like I would have known about Reddit if it existed in college. Like if it was prominent in college, right?
I only found out about Reddit because of this. You're gonna laugh at this, but Star Wars: The Old Republic, because there were some posts on there about that.
Oh, yeah. I played Star Wars: The Old Republic.
That was
I found out about it when we started podcasting, and apparently that was a thing. And I was like, and I tried to tried to figure out how to use it, and I was like, nope, can't do it. I don't even like Facebook.
For anybody who doesn't know, Star Wars: The Old Republic came out start-ish of Cataclysm, because I quit, went to Star Wars: The Old Republic, and then Star Wars: The Old Republic was the last MMO I played for a long time. It had some major issues with PvP at the end game. I didn't do PvE, but PvP, like you talk about the honor grind in TBC, like think about that times 3. And that was the honor grind, or the equivalent to get PvP gear in Star Wars: The Old Republic. And Yeah, it was a bummer too because like the PvP was really fun. Like Hut Ball was one of the funnest like PvP games I think I ever played in an MMO.
I love Hutball.
It
I
was
had
so
so much
cool.
fun playing that. God, now I'm gonna go download that and play that for like a week just because it's free to play now.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I wonder if my character's still there. That'd be
Hey,
funny.
question though. Like, okay, so rank 1, it says like the top 0.1%, right? So what you have to acquire is based on your peers, right? So it's kind of
Yes,
like a
yes.
sliding scale,
So like they
right?
don't show you there, but you'll see actual rating numbers for that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when it's live.
But does that rating number change?
Yes.
Because if it's 0.1%, if more people get up there, maybe it changes to a higher number.
It will. Yes, definitely.
So my question is there a max in arena to what you could get to?
I don't know if there's ever been a max. Like I just know the higher you get, like losses start to really rack up. Like you'll have a loss that'll take away 30 points, whereas your wins will only get you 2 type of deal. That's at least the way it was in TBC original.
I think Bob's right. I think maybe 3,000 is the absolute max, but I don't think it's actually possible to get there.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I
it
was just
just it
wondering if
tries
there
to
was like,
you just can't get matches with people like that high, and so therefore your losses just really like suck your points out. So at some
so
point you stop.
is this server wide or
Battle group.
Yeah, and battle groups are
battle group?
everybody basically now. Like
Are
basically
they?
all of NA, all of EU, all of
Okay.
Australia, New Zealand.
So
Yeah, the Pacific. Yeah.
potentially, if you're in a region that doesn't have a lot of PvP, you could get rank 1 with a very low rating, right?
Yeah, this was a
Potentially.
topic
Like,
on Countdown to Classic, I think, because they'll have way less people in the pool. It'll be quote unquote easier to attain because there's less competition.
right. There's just less people vying for it. And if you don't have as many good PvPers, then more people get rank 1 that maybe wouldn't even hold the candle to the people in a different region, right?
This was the
Which
same
is
problem in original TBC. Everybody Everybody talks about BG9 was the best. I don't know if it was or not. There wasn't a whole lot of information back in the day, but we were in BG9, and supposedly that was where the majority, not the majority, but the most good PvPers were, supposedly. There's nothing to back that up. It's literally a thing of legend now. So,
yeah. I was just curious. Sorry.
I honestly don't remember. That was. Oh god, I'm too old now. I don't remember that far back.
Same.
yeah, see, the only reason I remember is because we were just so into PvP, and Mel just kind of came along and she did what she did, but I was the one always looking up everything on like the forums and different sites and all that.
Hey,
And
I was good.
yeah,
Oh, do you
you were good, but I was looking up the extra things, not just how to play the game type of deal.
do, do you
Mhm.
remember the server forums? Are those still around? Like we used to have so much trash talk happen on
Oh,
our
dude, it was
server
horrible.
forum.
Yeah, I don't know if those are still around or not. I don't think they are.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
Not for me, but yeah.
Is
So
it sad though? Do we need to bring everything back? Like, come
We
on.
really don't. Like
Should we bring Vent back? Should we be
no.
like, you can only
Just
play Classic if you can download Ventrilo?
and figure out how to put it in a new server. Yeah, that's what you have to do. God.
I'm
Oh,
pretty sure I paid for my vent server for like 2 years after quitting WoW, which
oh my
sucks.
god.
Because it was like $5 a month or something like that for like a 25-man server or 30-man server. And I'm pretty sure I just forgot. It was kind of like your dad when he
Mm,
found out that Like 10 years after
No,
AOL
no.
went
This is
free. No,
ridiculous.
10 years after AOL went free. Someone finally on like
Me.
no, he like you were surprised, but he was on a tech call with somebody trying to work on an email issue for his AOL email,
He still has
and
an AOL email, which is
and
really the bigger issue.
they go, and they just said to him, "Well, I mean, you don't really have to," because he was so mad because he had to pay. Like he's like, "I pay
He paid monthly for it.
$14.99 a month for this," and they're like, "Well, sir, you don't have to really pay." And he was like, "What do you mean I don't have to pay?" They're like, "Well, you could switch to the free model." He's like, "Well, what do I lose at the free model?" "Well, nothing really. You just have to tell us you want to go to it." He was like, "Are you kidding me?" So for like 10 years, he was paying $15 a month for an AOL email that he didn't even need. But we
I'm
are
like,
getting
you
on
are the
crazy
sucker.
tangents.
You are the sucker dad that did that. Bob's the sucker that falls for all the things in the aisles that when you're in the checkout lane, like all those little things in the aisles that they're trying to sell you. Yeah, Bob buys all those.
All right, I'm
So,
moving us on.
does he
No,
still
let
have a Hotmail
Naismith.
account?
Oh no, just AOL.
Yeah.
He never
Okay.
even moved to Hotmail, right? Like Hotmail was after AOL, I think. Oh my
But he
god.
at least isn't paying for it now. But we're moving
Every
on.
time I send him an email to
Sorry,
his name at AOL.com, I'm like, I can't.
Oh,
You need to
yep, come
stop.
back. I need you.
sorry, we have been on tangents.
Yes.
So
Yep, I need
much.
you. I
Yeah.
need you. Oh, okay. So the last
This
thing
is
in the news.
Sorry, this is a podcast that's only going to appeal to people that live in Kansas
True.
at this point.
No, we're fine. So the last thing that changed is they're doing this whole thing where they're changing the emotes. You can't spit on people anymore. So now they have changed the slash whistle emote to no longer be the cat call. Anybody that doesn't know what a cat call whistle is, you've probably heard it. It's and that's a cat call whistle. Normally, men would do it to women walking by on the street, type usually like blue collar workers. That's like something you would attribute it to, right? That's been changed to what the actual. I guess like this was changed in retail a while ago, so I guess it's been changed to the retail version of it, which is I think just like something like that, or like just a normal whistle of some sort. So they're moving on with like still changing things. And how do you guys feel about this? Like Mel, as a woman, how do you feel about the cat call whistle? Like if somebody whistles at you walking down the street and goes, like, are you offended? I'm just curious. You're muted.
Sorry. Offended? I don't know if I'm offended. I feel like it depends on the situation, but it can make you feel uncomfortable, right? Like it makes you feel
Depending on the
vulnerable.
amount of men, probably,
Well, the amount of men, or like if you're by yourself, or if you're with other people,
or how
or
attractive those men are.
not really,
I'm
honestly.
kidding. I'm
Like
kidding.
that really doesn't play a part in it. It's more so like it's almost like a come on. It's like if you were at the bar and somebody buys you a drink, right? Like that can have very different meanings in different scenarios where like sometimes it's okay. You're like, "Oh yeah, I like this person. Great." Sometimes it's like creepy and you're like, "Why is this person sending me a drink? I've not even said anything to them." And like, I don't know. I'm not going to say in like overarching that it's a horrible thing, but I do think that it's just a way for men to, I don't know, express something towards a woman, and usually it does not have the best of intentions.
Well, it's from what I've understand, it is pretty much just a form of objectification because it's only
Yeah.
appreciating someone for the way they look. Now,
Right.
I'm a young like when I was a young kid, I probably did something stupid like this. Like I don't know, I couldn't ever whistle like that because I can't whistle. Like, it's a point of embarrassment, but
Well, and when I was a young kid, I probably like thought that was cool when somebody did that to me, right? So my thought process has changed
yeah. I
because you feel like almost like, oh, I'm hot, I'm great, like that's cool, like they think I'm cute, right? But at the same time, like you get older and you realize, like, okay, a 50-year-old thinking that a 16-year-old is hot, it's kind of creepy. Like,
kinda.
maybe you should not do that.
Yeah.
So
When people are like that, they come see me
Whoa,
professionally, and
whoa.
that's
When
not a
did
good
this
thing.
turn into a 50-year-old doing that to a 15-year-old?
But
Whoa.
I'm just
hold
saying,
on,
I
we
said
should
16.
we
Okay.
should put this
That's any
into
better?
we should put this into the context of WoW, where whistling at someone could literally be a 35-year-old man objectifying a 35-year-old man.
Yep, I was
Yeah.
going to say that too.
It's
Which is
it,
usually the thing.
yeah. Um,
But I mean, I guess in general, like, does it have a place? Like, why is the slash whistle? Oh my god, I can't even say that. Slash whistle? Why is that even that emote, right? Like, why is it the cat calling
Why
emote?
was it ever the cat call?
Yeah, like
Because 15 years ago people weren't offended by it. That's the cold honest truth, and like now people
I
are offended
I
by it.
disagree with that statement. I think that 15 years ago people were offended by it,
But didn't say
but
anything maybe.
there just wasn't as much openness to this is not okay. It was just the culture, right? And so I think that if I say slash whistle, it should whistle, not do anything different, right?
I mean, if it was up to me, when you did slash whistle, it would be whistle while you work, whistle while you whistle while you whistle while you work.
I
But
really
that's
don't
just
want to
me.
be I really don't want to be that guy, but if we look at accounts of what the culture was like at Blizzard likely 15 years
Mhm.
ago, there's probably a very easy reason why it was the cat call.
Yeah,
This was not a healthy place for women to work.
yeah,
Well,
agreed.
I think it goes even more than that. I think it goes to the point that all these dudes were dorks. Like all the guys that started Blizzard, except for maybe what's his name, were dorks. What's his name? The guy that did Cataclysm. Not Ben. The
I
guy
have
that
no
did the
idea.
Cataclysm announcement. Is it not Ben Brode? That was the one who ran
Yeah, Hearthstone.
Hearthstone. But he was the only one who actually like screamed cool to me ever at you know like like Blizzard. Like these guys were dorks. So these guys didn't interact with women
Do
normally.
you think
Like
it matters if they're a dork or if they're cool or if they're hot or if
I
they're like
think what I'm
that
saying by
shouldn't
dork,
matter.
what I'm saying by dork is socially awkward. They don't know what is like cuz I would agree with you that no woman in history ever dated well, not in history, but like would date a guy like that cat called him. Like you said when you were younger, you're like, "Oh, thank you. I'm pretty." But you're not walking back to that guy and
And be like,
go,
"Hey, here's
"Yeah,
my phone number."
exactly." And so cool guys aren't going to do that. They're going to just
Yeah.
chill. And so I think these guys were just a bunch of dorks that didn't know how to relate to women, and I
I
think that's
don't
what
know
it
if a
comes
bunch
down
of
to.
dorks I don't know if a bunch of dorks is the route we want to take versus
Probably not.
I I think that it was just a cultural thing. I think Blizzard allowed that culture. I think society allowed that culture, right? There was n- nobody got in trouble for whistling at girls on the spot. And I think it was just a way of like expressing things that was offensive, but people didn't stand up and people didn't advocate for themselves. And, that's how we are where we are today. And that's fine. We're improving things and we're changing things. And I think that this is a good change that Blizzard can make. Although it seems very small, it's just kind of something good that they are saying, like, that's probably not okay.
Well,
And I think the
Okay,
slash spit thing
so
is kind of like,
let me
like let's
like
whatever, I don't
hold
care.
on, hold on. Though. Let me throw something because Cadvan in chat just said something that I think is what they probably were thinking when they first put it in. And for any time in my life, the cat call uh, uh, whistle has been a joke. Like it's been like literally a joke. Like you only do it to be funny. I've never actually seen it actually happen in real life where it was like, a girl walking across a construction site and a bunch of men hooting and hollering at her and like cat calling. I know that shit happened, but
I've seen it.
I've
I've
never seen it.
experienced it.
I've
I
I've only seen it as a joke. So Cadvan points out that most likely these guys were just putting it in to be funny, and
The
it
problem
was
is
kind of funny at that time.
the problem is that funny only goes so far, right? Funny is funny to who? And who does it
Yes.
affect? And it's not that it is not funny, it's that you realize that these are behaviors that people engage in that affect other people. And other people may be silenced at the time, and then they are able to speak their truth. Or maybe they're not silent, and
well,
it's still just a cultural thing.
And sorry, Naismith, you were gonna say I cut you off earlier.
well, it's all right. No, it's like we're looking at we are playing a game that is effectively a fossil
Mhm.
compared to modern day games. This game was designed. This was released in '04, but was designed in '02 and '03
Yeah,
principally.
for
Think
sure.
about the differences in culture we have just
Completely
from that
different.
time.
Massive.
Like, this was the height of the goddamn Bush administration. Like, I was in high school at this point, and I am now a successful like person that owns my own home with two children. Like, it's
Right.
like what is acceptable? Like, if you go back and you watch TV from this time, you would be shocked at the like, for lack of the slurs that people get away with, like on TV, just saying like the F slur regarding gay people, like that
Mhm.
was used on TV regularly at the time. This was a very like culturally, we were in a very different time when this was designed. So I can't
And
really.
a very small portion of the population had a voice, right? And I think that's why you'll see a lot of these things in the WoW commentary. And I don't think they were ill-intentioned. I think it was just based on
Well, and we also have to point out, Mel, too, the only reason we got in our first vanilla guild that was in the top 1% of the world in content is because you were a girl, because you were the
Mhm.
unicorn. Like, because girls really didn't play. Like, and if they did, they played in secret. Like, everybody in the guild got a huge kick out of it when Mel would talk. Like, and at least in our vanilla guild, they weren't rude to her. Like in our Wrath guild, we had this one mage that like I got in fights with regularly because he was just an atrocious human being. But these guys
And
just got a
listen,
kick out of a girl playing, and we got to be in one of the best guilds ever, and got to come in late and just get geared up too, like
and listen,
because
I'm
she was a
I'm a
girl.
strong I'm a strong woman. I've had good role models and I know who I am and I know what I represent, right? So I, yes, took advantage of the fact that, hey, I'm a girl. Yeah, I'll be in your guild. Cool. Here's my husband, right? And that was great. And that's fine. I will take those advantages. You take them when they come to you, right? But I also know that when I'm in a guild, like Bob was saying in Wrath, where this one person kept nagging at me, I am the type of person that I don't let that affect me. I don't speak I address it, I speak my mind, and I let it go. And I say, listen, if that's the type of person that you would like to be, that's fine. I'm not going to attend to you. I'm not going to give you the attention that I know you're seeking because that's the only reason you're engaging this behavior. So I'm just going to ignore you and I'm going to move on with my life and enjoy my life and not ignore you because I don't have to attend to you. I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to have a relationship with you. You're not in my immediate environment. You're in my guild. And that means nothing to me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sorry, I went off on a tangent.
All in all, though, I think it's fine that they take it out of the game. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't know about you guys.
Like,
I think it's good.
We have talked about this for, 10 minutes, 15 minutes now, and I'm fairly certain that Blizzard probably spent that much time programming these emotes into the game. Like,
Right.
these are... If your gameplay experience is dependent on your emotes, find a different fucking game. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is
Well,
not
For
your
sure.
game.
but I mean, don't count out the RP servers. The RP servers rely on
Okay,
emotes
that's fair.
probably quite a bit. Just
Oh
because
my
we
god,
don't do it
that's true.
doesn't mean that it's not a big part of the game.
I
That's
already
fair.
gave...
I appreciate you bringing that up because I often don't think about things outside of my experience, which is a flaw. I understand, but I don't understand them, so I don't
It's not a flaw. It's
try.
human nature.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's a flaw. Go
I
ahead, Naismith.
I already told you about my horror story for, like, being on a RP server when I first started playing WoW, and I was so confused by it that I never went back. I think that was... I think I talked about that on my first episode that I was with you guys on, so we don't need to go back to that. That's a very odd anecdote.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was your guild leader stealing someone's wife or something like that. Yeah.
Oh no. This is just... I was a like level 8 orc that approached Orgrimmar, and someone just said, "Doth what knave approaches these gates?" And I was just like, I remember I was like, "What the fuck am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I playing this game? Like, I should be out like talking to people." And I like logged and didn't get back into WoW until my friend told me to get back in.
Oh, dude, yeah. See, for me, RP was just broken with Ultima Online. Like, I started that and I was like, "How art thou?" And I was doing the whole RP thing, and I remember the first time doing it, and this dude just like killed me and took all of my stuff because in Ultima Online it was like the wild west of MMOs, and if you died, they could just loot everything off of your body, and if you didn't have stuff in the bank or if you didn't have a house and have stuff stored, like you were just starting from zero again, and it was a rough world, and so my RPing got beat out of me quick, and that's I maybe if World of Warcraft was my first game, maybe RP would have been for me because I tried to do it. I really wanted to like be in the story, but it just didn't work out for me in that game, and so it never carried into any game after that.
I I can respect that at least. Like, I know there are people that get a lot out of RPing. It's... I mean, I enjoy playing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends, but that's really just an excuse to get drunk on a Sunday with my friends. Uh, I don't play video games for that. So, but that's just me. I shouldn't shit on people that do get something out of RPing.
Well, I wish Yip was here because Yip seems to really enjoy it. He like he kind of keeps it under wraps, but whenever he's talking about RP and he starts saying stuff, you're like, okay, I think you might be a secret LARPer.
Well, I mean, he's the guy that grinded a paladin. How do you do that? Like, I'm kind of in awe of that.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
that's...
it's definitely not something I would ever do or understand, but he definitely loves it. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, the entire leveling process for me is literally just a means to an end to get to end game because I love dungeons
That's
and
what
I
it's
love
meant for me.
raids.
Although I do
Like,
enjoy questing with Mel, but if I had to quest by myself or work up by myself, I wouldn't enjoy it at all, I don't think.
it is. I, I can see it being a lot of fun if you have someone with you.
Yeah,
Like,
just imagine your wife coming along with you and you guys being able to talk or like stream a show or a documentary. That's why we don't stream a lot when we play together, because we're like watching shows together while we like work up and stuff.
yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
super
I would like
cool.
that. Like, I've gotten my wife to play one game with me, and that was Mass Effect 2,
Oh, it's a
which was a
great
lot of
game.
fun. That is a
Yeah.
great game.
Mel and
Yeah.
I think one of the funnest games we played was one of those Telltale adventure games, and it was the Borderlands one where they did a Telltale game, and it was like an adventure game. If anybody's played the Walking Dead one, there's been a whole bunch of them. Batman.
I
Um,
love I love anything Borderlands. I fucking love that
well,
world.
you should definitely
Like,
check it out because this might be
Me
something
too.
you and your wife would love, because the two main characters are a guy and a girl. And Mel and I would swap the controller when it went to the guy or the girl. And
oh,
our
okay.
decisions, because you were kind of like at odds with each other at times, and like allies at times, and it was a really fun game. Borderlands Telltale, that's Tale Tale. Tale. Wait, no, Telltale.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
they're the like modern version of the adventure games. Like another one that was really
Yeah,
good
like
was
choose your own adventure.
a
Yeah.
Wolf Among Us was a really good one too. But you like it was one of the coolest things ever, because we trade off during those times, and we really got to feel like we were those characters and got into
Although
it.
that one was great. We played another one which required a lot more movement, and I realized very quickly that my computer skills did not transfer to Xbox
Oh,
skills.
you're talking
Like
about the
moving the
one.
camera and
No,
stuff, like,
you're
oh,
talking about the one where you could like reverse time. Um,
oh god.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, I
no,
know which one you're talking about.
no. Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Handsome Jack is such a wonderful villain.
I love him. I love
He
him.
is he is
You don't
so
know who
funny.
Handsome Jack is, Mel.
Yes, we played Borderlands too.
No, we played Borderlands the Telltale game.
Oh, well, Handsome Jack was there.
He might have been in that game. I don't even remember,
Yeah, he
actually.
definitely was, or else I wouldn't know who he was.
I don't know, but tangent. Okay. All right, so I don't know. We've had a pretty good episode. Do any of these topics like sound like something we could do in like 15 minutes, or should we just end the show here?
Let's see. We can talk about top DPS, but hold on. I got a kid out of bed. I will be right back.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
I
think
mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe picking Naismith's brain on the PTR, because I know he's played it and we have not.
has he?
He was saying he had played it earlier, so I think that would be interesting, and I don't think that would take too long.
Okay, cool. And as soon as he gets back, we'll move into discussion. What's up, chat? Do you guys have any quick questions while we're waiting
See,
for Smith to come
Yamstarch
back?
says that Handsome Jack was in the Telltale series. Thank you, Yamstarch. I'm not crazy.
The best stories, games, books, movies, etc.
Yeah, the best villains and antagonists are definitely like that's what makes a story.
Yeah, I think about
And the best is when they make you like the villain, right? Where you're like relate to
the
the
best
villain
is
and
when
you
they
like
make
the
you
villain.
hate the villain. Like for instance,
Well, both.
so this isn't even going to be in the podcast, but like think about Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner. Think about the bad guy in that movie. He was so good. He was like the comic relief, along with a really scary bad guy that you hated. Like I remember when they like drew the scar on his statue after Robin Hood cut him, and then when he came down, he stabbed everything with a fork, and his like witch mom was like, "Something vexes thee." Like there's so many good things. Like, but a good bad guy definitely makes a movie. But I don't know if like liking them makes it.
Alan Rickman was an awesome villain.
Oh yeah, he was awesome in Die Hard too. But okay, we're gonna. So, Naismith, you have played PTR, right?
I haven't played it. I've been watching it though.
Okay, so you do have some stuff to say about it.
Well, I mean, it's just good that
Hold on, hold
we're
on, hold on. I just want to know if you do.
Yeah, I do have a couple things. Like,
All
I
right,
was
well,
just
hold on, hold on. All right, guys. Well, then let's move into
Mel, you're muted.
discussion. Okay, so we don't have a whole lot of time here left, but none of Mel and I and Yip have not played the PTR yet. Naismith has been checking out the PTR, so we wanted to kind of get his thoughts on the next bit of content that's coming. That's coming here in Phase 2. So, have you been checking it out recently?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, as with pretty much all classic content, these bosses are not as hard as we remember them. Like,
Right.
that's something we have to come to grips with. Like, uh my
Well,
Which is
the
and
why do you
people
think
aren't
that
going in like people originally weren't going in with the gear we have now because they weren't time gated too, right?
well, that's true. Like, there's all sorts of factors that went into people not being as prepared, as good, or just like straight like know what to do on
right,
fights.
just
Like,
knowledge of the game, right? Like as much
yeah,
resources as we have now, like there's no way you don't know what to do in a fight. You can
like
find 18,000 videos about what to do when you walk into Karazhan.
there are what 100 videos on gold farms you need to do before phase two.
Right.
Like, there is, it's a term in law, but it's called "there's nothing new under the sun," which
Mhm.
means we've seen this all before. We have
Right.
like a fight like Leotheris the Blind back in the day was fucking hard because there's
Yeah.
an aggro ripe every 12 seconds, and then there's a demon phase, and oh god, people are just panicking. We don't know what to do. I mean,
And
now,
trying to coordinate people
yeah,
in Ventrilo.
is not easy. But we look at now, it's like, okay, have your one warlock that has, the 100 extra badges, that has bought all the fire resist gear, have him be, SL spec so he can tank it easier. Like, you have
And
that.
it's like everybody watch this video before the raid. And
Yeah,
then we're gonna still lay it out and talk about it before we do it. But everybody already has like a semi understanding. It's not like you're going in
yeah.
blind.
Yeah, you are not going in blind. There is not a fight you shouldn't know what the strategy is, at least, or at least the bare bones of what you're going to be seeing.
Right.
Um, that being said, it is good to see that they are reverting fights to pre-nerf. Like,
Hmm.
Alar looked like a pushover until it was reverted to pre-nerf, because the way it was, there were only 4 platforms you needed to go to, and it just went in a set order every time. Pre-nerf, you need to go to 6 different platforms, and sometimes it's going to do quills, which will just kill your tanks instantly. There's better stuff. Like, the pre-nerf fights are a lot more fun, I think.
I want them
Um,
to be hard. I want them to be
I
not
don't want
so difficult that we can't do it, but so difficult that maybe it takes us 2 or 3 weeks before it's down. Like,
I
I
don't
don't know.
I don't want pushover fights. Like
I don't either.
like
That
my
just seems monotonous to me.
yeah, my concern is we're going to go into SSC and we're going to clear 5 of 6 or 6 of 6 in our first 2 nights.
Mhm.
Like, I hope it's harder than that. I don't think it's going to be, though. Like
Did you guys clear all of Nax pretty quickly?
the guild the group we have now is so different than our Nax group. We like the group I was in did not clear Nax quickly. Like I think our first kill of kill Jaden, is that what it is? Kill whatever his name, Kel'Thuzad.
Oh,
Our first
yeah.
kill of Kel'Thuzad was in January, like late January.
I
The
think
group I was
ours
in.
was like mid to late January too,
Right.
because of Christmas and everything else. Like and
Right.
and
People went on
Shadowlands
vacation.
assholes brought out Shadowlands.
Mhm.
Like all of that caused
It was
factors.
it was it was not an ideal time to send out
Right.
like a ton of content, which is what they did. Like
But how
granted,
much more fun was it
I
to
mean,
progress through an
Nax
instance as
Nax
opposed
Well,
to
hold on. I want to hear about PTR though, not
feel it?
about Nax.
I'm just
well,
relating it to Nax. I want the Nax experience again, right? Where it
Okay,
wasn't
well,
so hard that we couldn't do it.
I want the Nax
we're
experience
not
in Sunwell. That's where I
That's
want
what
the
I'm
Nax
saying.
experience.
we're not going to get the next experience until Sunwell. I don't think, because Sunwell, to me, the dirty secret about Tier 6, which is Phase 3, is the fact that it's actually easier than like Tier 3 or Tier 6 is actually easier than Tier 5.
Well,
Like that was what I remember.
Sunwell's
Like,
going to be tier 5.
well, no, that's Phase 5. Phase 5. Tier 5 is
Phase
like,
5. Yes, yes. Sorry.
yeah, Tier 5 is SSC and TK. Those two raids, my guild had so much more trouble in them than we did in Tier 6. Like,
Hmm.
that was back in the day, and on a couple private servers I've been on. Tier 5 was harder. A lot of times is because Tier 5 is where you really get your 25 man together. And that has to do with the
Yeah.
fact that the 25 mans in Tier 4 are just not long enough, and they're not interesting enough, in my opinion.
You don't get a groove,
No,
right?
you
Like you
don't.
can't like mesh together well enough because you're only together for 30 minutes.
Yeah, there were what, 6 trash packs in Gruul and 4 in Mag. You get more than that in the first hallway in Tempest Keep.
Listen, Gruel's trash packs though, forget that. I'm done. I die a lot. I can't figure it out.
Do you get charged every time?
No, we
Yeah, I'm
all
like the
stack on the
sacrifice.
butt. We all stack on the
Yeah,
butt. It's
I'm
just
literally
someone.
standing with
But
25 other people.
there's no. There's literally always two people that don't stack, and so he charges, drops aggro, kills somebody on his way back. Like that's what
And it's me.
happens. It's
And
like
it's
two
Mel.
people
Oh,
every time.
it's Mel every time.
No.
I
Mel's on the
stack on the
butt.
butt,
Mel just
but
dies.
I'm the sacrifice. I'm the one
Yeah.
that didn't. It's
When
fine.
just if those
Yeah.
two people would just scoot the fuck up, we'd be fine.
Sorry, I've been monologuing for like the last 2 minutes, and
No, Mel has interrupted you at least 17 times.
I mean, that's Mel. You just have to love it.
we can accept that. Yeah, that's fine. Um, I have no idea where my train of thought was. Fuck.
No, so we were talking about wait, what were we talking about? We were talking
We,
about
we want fights not to be a pushover.
yeah.
And I feel like the fights that aren't going to be a pushover are the ones that are technically demanding. And that is going to be Lady Vaj. That's going to be the first one. I hope that's because the tainted core mechanic is not something you can just brute force your way through. That is do you guys know about that? Like, okay.
We did not rate it all
Yep.
in
Yep.
TBC.
We only
So
did
we're
PvP.
like
Lady
virgin raiders.
Lady Vaj is one of my favorite fights that Blizzard has ever designed. I really, really hope it's not a pushover.
And Lady
Because
Bosch is in what dungeon?
it is the final boss of Serpent Shrine Cavern, or SSC.
Okay.
Um, the basic premise is like it's a 3-phase fight. The first phase is fairly unremarkable. She just hits like a truck. Phase 2, she becomes invulnerable, and there are 4 pylons or 4 like columns that are channeling into her that give her her shield. Now, what happens in phase 2 is there are about 6 different types of ads that spawn just on a rotating clock all the time. There are elementals that just need to be killed. If an elemental always tries to walk up and touch her. If it touches her, she gains additional percent of damage. So you
Oh.
can't let too many touch her.
Hmm.
She's going to be constantly spamming a chain lightning during this phase. That's just is going to annoy Mel to no end because she's going to have to heal it.
God damn it.
There are Nagas that spawn that are just tank and spanks that you have to deal with. There are Striders, like the Striders in Zanger Marsh, like the big tall things. There's one that spawns
Hmm.
all the time, and you have to have one be kited because anyone that gets 6 meters of it, 6 yards, instantly is feared away. And it's a horrify effect. It's not like a fear ward. It's like a death coil.
Yeah.
So you usually have a elemental shaman take
Is it
care of that.
one of the ones where you run like super speed?
Well, no, you can. It's slow. You can slow it. So you generally have an elemental shaman just frost shock it a lot. That gives them a lot of good threat, and it makes it move very slowly, so your range can just take it down. Now, the big mechanic is about every 45 seconds, what's called a tainted core, tainted elemental will spawn, which is a green elemental that will just shoot like poison bolts at everyone. It has to be killed really quickly, otherwise it will despawn, and it will leave what's called a tainted core. You have to pick up the tainted core. It makes it so you cannot move, but you can throw it to your raid members. So you have to throw it until you have someone that is right next to one of the 4 columns that are channeling the boss. They use it like like an item you use, and it disrupts that pylon in it. So you have only 3 left, and you have to do that 4 times. And what you have to do is keep up on DPS, keep all the ads down, and have everyone spread out in a way so that you can you can always get a tainted core when it spawns. It is a really fun, really demanding fight.
So I
Uh,
feel like this fight. Sorry, did you have something else to
oh
say?
no, the
I'm really
tainted
bad at interrupting.
no, you did a very good job. I'm very proud. The tainted core, when you hold it, you can't move. You can't move anywhere. So you have to throw it. You can't just take it and run up. You have to throw it to people. So it requires communication.
Got it. Okay. So my question here is because I have no idea what this raid looks like. But what I want to know is I feel like we were able to skip a lot of the mechanics in bosses in classic because we could burn them down very quickly,
Yeah.
right? So we never saw whatever like submerge. MC, anybody? I can't remember the name.
Ragnaros.
Yes, thanks. We never saw Rag submerge, right?
Yeah.
So why what do we think needs to happen to make sure that we see all the mechanics that we should see? And it sounds like this is like, okay, you have to get all these tokens. Is it
These
one
are,
token or multiple tokens?
it's 4. You have to do it 4
Okay.
times.
So you have
And
to do it 4 times. So there's no getting around that, right? Like you
no,
can't burn the boss to get
no,
around that.
Well, I
because the
think
boss,
Blizzard learned around TBC, right, to not put things based on health. They put things
Mm.
based on like percentage of health, like you know what I mean?
Well, they put things not based on time, but percentage of health,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like I think
yeah,
before it was based on time,
Yeah,
where it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
Good-
oh,
yeah,
okay, if you
well
kill
put.
him in 2 minutes, you don't see any of this.
like this is a percentage based tech. Like she
Okay.
goes to phase 2 in either 70 or 80%. I think it's
Okay.
oh god, don't quote me on that. I don't remember anymore. Oh
Yep,
god,
you're fine. You're fine.
yeah, it's
Either
fine.
way, like
But
we're
like
not
almost
confirming.
the only fights that are like timer based are going to be like the timers are too short that you won't be able to kill them in time to just skip whole mechanics. I don't think, at least, unless because there are fights like Solarian. That's like there's a regular timer there, where you're gonna have to, like, she has add phases, and then she comes back, add phase, she comes back. I don't think there's gonna be a way to skip one of those add phases unless you're just everyone's pulling obscene amounts of DPS. It's gonna be easier than it was, but it's not gonna be. We're not gonna have a thing where we just skip entire phases of fights.
Okay.
Cool, cool. Well, guys, I want to talk more, but it is about time to wrap up. So, since you're the guest, Naismith, do you have an add-on of the week you want to do, or should I just do the one that I had planned?
Well, I have a great add-on that I think everyone should have. It's called Deadly Boss Mods.
Yeah, we've done that
Um,
one before. I
I
think
mean,
everybody has that one.
Deadly boss mods and GTFO. I
yeah.
just recently got GTFO and it helps save me from being in puddles of
Well,
things I don't need to be in.
I was asking if you had one. I wasn't asking you to tell it yet because
Okay,
I
I'm sorry.
I gotta put in the bumper, so I'm gonna have to do the lead up. So who wants
I
to
mean,
go?
I'm sorry. That was my, like, sarcastic answer. I don't actually have a
Gotcha,
good
gotcha.
one.
All right. Well, let's move on to the add-on of the week. It's you, Mel.
Dun dun dun. Wait, what? What am I
You just
doing?
said you wanted to do GTFO.
Oh, I was just kidding. I was like piggybacking on Deadly Boss mods, but I can do GTFO if you want me to.
Okay, start in like you're just coming off of the bumper.
Okay. The add-on of the week. This one. Okay, guys, I want to talk to you about GTFO because I see very many people just standing in things that they don't know are hurting them. And it's very common. And I feel like in TBC, it's even more common. You go to mm, any boss and there's like things falling from the ceiling, there's things underground. You go to dungeons, there's, auras that you don't know about. So if you get GTFO, just upload it. It will give you like a minor beep. If it's something minor, it'll be like beep, beep, beep. And you're like, oh, I gotta get out of this. And then when it like gives this whole like array of like, it sounds like sirens. You can't ignore it. You need to get out of the way right away. And it will save your life so many times. And you don't have to be that idiot that was like, oh, sorry, I died in the green slime.
Yeah, it's an add-on that saves me on a weekly basis because
Yeah.
if you're in cleave range, it'll be like dunk dunk. If you're in something that's gonna kill you fast, it'll be an actual and you can't
Hmm.
ignore it. So it helps you just get out of it. And as a melee DPS, it was always a lot easier to do that. But as a caster, you're like concentrating on casting and keeping up time, and you don't want to move. But when you hear that, you
And as a
realize, oh, I have to
healer,
move now.
right, and as a healer, I'm on looking at my raid frames most of the time, right? And I'm trying to heal and I'm trying to figure that out. And I'm not often looking at like the ground underneath me. That does not come to mind as the first thing I need to do. So it's it's nice to just have something that's like, hey, you need to move. And I'm like, okay. And sometimes I start moving and then it gets more intense. And that's terrifying, but I, like, now can look on the ground and be like, "Okay, this is where I need to move to."
Yeah, it's definitely one that's really good. Do you use it, Naismith?
I don't, but that's just because I'm a good player.
Oh,
Oh, oh.
I'm sorry. That was
well, for all you sweaty
way more
casuals,
asshole-ish.
it's
No,
really good.
GTFO is really good. Like, you really should use that.
Listen, I'm not claiming to be a good player, but I will say it is extremely helpful for us non-sweaties.
Okay, I feel like an asshole. I shouldn't have said that.
I'm totally messing with you, Naismith. You're totally fine.
All right, guys. Well,
I
that's
actually argued against getting it. I was like, I can see when I'm in something. Like, why do I need that? Like, that's stupid. And then I got it and I realized I was probably dying to a lot of things.
Like the only things you really have to avoid, what is it that the thing that Nightbane puts on the ground, the cave-ins
No, but
from
there's so many
Gruul.
other things. Like, there's
Oh, are
so
there
many
more?
times where it like beeps at me and I'm like, what? Why? And I move and I stop taking damage. Great.
yeah. It's because like oftentimes you're in cleave range because you're just a little bit into the butt of the mob or things of that nature. It's a very good add-on. I think if you don't have it, you're crazy. All right, guys, we're going to end the show out here. We want you to talk to us. If you need to send us anything, just send it to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. We encourage you guys to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you want to join our Discord, that's mash.gg/Discord. How can you up the podcast? You can tell people about the podcast. You can yell it out in BGs. I love it when you do it. When I'm in the BG and you do a shout out, you help spread the word and help spread our, I don't know what the word is. You help just get us talked
Get the word
about.
out.
Yeah.
Get the word out. Yeah. But if you could maybe spread the word with Aryelena, Aryelani. Just saying. Mm, you know.
ARYLINA.
ARYA. Elena. Okay. That's
Okay.
fine.
Yep. So, yeah, Arielina. Oh, ratings and reviews can help too. Apple Podcasts is where it helps us the most. You could also do it at warcraftradio.com/directory. We do appreciate your in-game mails and your discords. They definitely warm our hearts. But Apple Podcasts is what actually helps us get seen more on Google. So please do that. Oh man, I just lost my train of thought. Going
Google
back in.
helps.
Oh no, I almost done there. I was just getting to the end of
Okay.
the show. Like all this stuff just gets cut from the actual version. That's why if you watch Twitch, you're like, whoa, this is a different show.
They really suck.
All right, Mel, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mel Overwatch, or you can find me in game on Mel Arena or Arielina. I won't try to spell it again. But yeah, that's it.
Mel,
And
I was gonna cut out you spelling Arielita in the first
okay,
place.
okay.
So, all right,
You can find
hold on,
me on.
hold on.
I can just start
All
again.
right, go.
You can find me on Twitter at Mel Overwatch, or you can find me in game at Mel Arena or on Arielina.
Awesome. And Naismith, I know you don't do social media, but do you have any shout outs you want to do?
Shout out to. Hold on. Wait, am I actually okay? Oh, fuck, I'm talking. You're gonna have to edit this shit out. You can
Do it
find
all the
me
time.
at Earth Fury. I am Naismith, the warlock there. If you really want to come talk to me, sure, drop me a line. I will talk Warcraft with pretty much anyone. You can find me on Twitter at Barack Obama. That is me. I am the
Are
former
you the
president of the
president?
United States.
Oh my God.
I thought you sounded familiar.
I'm so
God,
glad to have you.
that was such a shitty joke. Why did I say that? God, I need to go grab another beer. All right. If you
Any
really
shout
want to hit me
outs?
up, shout out to the guild Stuck in Combat. That's my guild on Earth Fury. It's a lot of fun. We're good people.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter at blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find me sometimes streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/blazinbob. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Yep. I need you back, bud. I need you back soon.
Miss you, buddy.
Aw. He deals with me every day.
All right,
So,
guys. We'll see you
bye.
next week.
Bye.
All right, we are still live on Twitch. You can stop your recordings. We're going to go ahead. So anybody to raid doesn't have 75,000 people. Here. We'll raid Uber. We're going to raid Uber Shouts. Tell Uber that Bob and Mel say hi from Overwatch League Recap. He will know who you're talking about. Tell him we love him. We'll see you next week, guys. All right. Hold on. I don't know if we're actually off yet.